This video has been brought to you by Multimedia Science, creators of science software and materials and teacher tools software. We will be showing you how to create your own science simulations using an authoring tool called Clickteam Fusion, formerly known as Multimedia Fusion. Clickteam Fusion allows you to create your own software applications with little programming experience and includes a number of other tools like a built-in graphics editor. In this video, we will be building a molecular simulator that can be used for a number of chemistry applications. The first thing we will do is download a free demo copy of Multimedia Fusion or Clickteam Fusion. Open your browser and go to the website www.clickteam.com. Clickteam is the name of the group that has created Clickteam Fusion. Once you get to the Clickteam site, move your mouse over the Creation Tools and select Clickteam Fusion 2.5 Free Edition. Then go to the Download Free Version Now button, click on it, and then click Run and load the software. Continue this video when you have finished installing. The final software that you create will run on any PC with Windows XP or later and can be exported to a number of other platforms, including Android, Flash, HTML5, and iOS. Double-click on the Clickteam Fusion 2.5 icon on your desktop. Choose File and New, creating a new application. Clickteam Fusion is laid out in three parts, which can be accessed from these three buttons. The first is the storyboard, where all of your frames are listed in order. The second is a frame editor, where you add objects like graphics and object properties to your frames. And third is the event editor, where you tell the objects in your frame what you want them to do. We will have only one frame which you can access by clicking on one. We are now on the frame editor. Let's add an object from the library. Clickteam Fusion comes with many pre-made graphics, animations, and sounds. Click on the library toolbar and then on the little plus. Navigate to Games, Game Objects 2, and drag on one of the balls. The full version of Clickteam Fusion has many more pre-made objects, like a small animated molecule, but the ball will do for our purposes. Click on the ball until it is surrounded by small black squares. Then drag on one of the diagonal squares to make the molecule relatively small. Next, we need a container for our molecule. In the top menu, click on Insert and select New Object. Double-click on the active object and then click inside of the frame area. The active object is one of the most used and most powerful objects. Now double-click on the active object you created. Inside of the active object are a number of drawing tools. We are going to draw our container right here. First, click on the Size button, a diagonal arrow, and set the size to 300 by 300 pixels. Then click on Apply. To get rid of the old graphic, click on the dotted line square and then drag around the old graphic. Next, click on the Delete key. Click on the rectangle and make sure the non-filled rectangle is selected. Choose a size of around 5 pixels by clicking on the up arrows and select a nice color from the color selector on the right. Now drag and draw a rectangle around the outside of the drawing space. Notice the background is a checkerboard. That means that it will be transparent. Click on the OK button. We now have our container. Now we need to get our molecule moving. Click on the molecule. The Properties editor should show up on the left-hand side. Click on the little running guy, which stands for motion, and then click on the type where it says static. From the long list of possible motions, choose bouncing ball. Let's test out what we have so far. There are 2 more important buttons on the top button bar. One will run your frame, and one will run your entire application. Since we have only one frame, it does not make any difference. So click on the Run Application button. Wow, the molecule moved right out of the box. Well, let's fix that. We will now go to the event editor and do some almost actual programming. In the event editor, you will see all of your objects, including the molecule, along the top, and conditions that you add along the left. The basic method will be click to create a condition, move across from that condition under an object, and click to create an event. You can see why they put the click in Clickteam. So click on New Condition and on the molecule, and a menu pops up. The possible conditions are included in this menu. Choose Collisions, another object, and double-click on our container. So now we will create an event. What will happen when our condition, the molecule colliding with the container, occurs? Under the molecule, right-click and choose Movement Bounce. Let's see how this works. Click on the Run Application button again. Okay, we now have a bouncing molecule, but we need some more. Return to the frame editor. Right-click on the molecule and select Copy. Now hold down the Control button and hit the V button. Then click on the screen. Keep doing this until you have 10 or 15 molecules in the box. Now for some action. Let's click on the Run Application button and see what happens. Let's close out of this. Go to the Insert New Object and add a counter. Then add 2 buttons and a string. A string is basically just text. By the way, again, in the real version of Clickteam Fusion, they have a lot more objects. Double-click on the buttons and type up and down. Double-click on the string and type temperature. Drag them around so they look good. To avoid confusion, right-click on the Up button, choose Rename, and type Up. Do the same for the Down button. Now let's go back to the event editor. Click on another new condition. Click on the Up button and choose Button Clicked. Do the same for the Down button. If you can't tell the buttons apart, place the mouse pointer over the icon and a tooltip will tell you its name. We also need to see what happens at the start when someone runs the frame. Click on a new condition and then the storyboard controls. Looks like a horse and chessboard. And then start a frame. Across from the start of frame condition, right-click on the counter and then set counter. Set the counter to 10 and then click OK. Now make a new condition using the special condition, this looks like gears, and choose Always. Across from Always and under the molecule, right-click and choose Movement, Set Speed. Now we're going to get a little bit sneaky. Instead of a number, we will click on the counter and choose Current Value. Now, whenever we change the counter, the speed of the molecule will also change. Now, across from the Up button, go under the counter, right-click, and choose Add to Counter 10. Do the same for the Down button, except click Subtract from Counter 10, and OK. Let's click on the Run button and see how our application is doing so far. You can see at the start that the velocity of the molecules is slow. The speed is 10. And when we click on the Up button, the velocity increases, and when we click on the Down button, the velocity decreases. So let's close the application. Now how about the pressure? Across from the condition of a collision between the molecule and the container, and under the sound object, looks like a speaker, right-click and choose Sample and Play Sample. Click on Browse from a file, and we're going to have to do some work here. You would have to go to your computer, the C drive, Program Files, and then the Clickteam Fusion 2.5 Free Edition, Samples. Again, there are many more samples in the real version of Clickteam Fusion. And let's see, let's double click on Click 01 wave. Again, let's run the application, and you will be able to hear the pressure. Hopefully this video so far has given you a start in creating your own Clickteam Fusion science applications. Obviously, there's a lot more work to do to make this into a finished application. Let's see what some more finished applications might look like. Here is the first application that I made many years ago, a set of gas law labs defining relationships between V and T, P and T, and V and P. Here is the temperature versus pressure. One of the really interesting things that I found when I made these simulations is that it takes time for the simulation to come to equilibrium, just like real life. Later, I created a more sophisticated gas law simulation. In this simulation, you can choose any two variables. And one of the neat things that you can do with this simulation is to find the value of absolute zero by taking data of volume versus temperature. Here's the graph of T versus V that you get when you run the simulation. Later, I used many of the same techniques to create an equilibrium simulator where a number of experiments can be run to explore the basic concepts of equilibrium. Determine the equilibrium constant, find changes in concentration, and changes in temperature and changes in pressure, Le Chatelet's principle. The main website where you can see multimedia science software and other teaching materials is at the Teachers Pay Teachers Multimedia Science Store. Here is the URL that you can type to go there. You can also visit the multimedia science blogs. There's a blog on educational science. There's a blog on teacher tools. So feel free to visit the website. There are many interesting links and many interesting articles on science and teaching. And then we have the Multimedia Science Pinterest site. You can see we have pins for educational physics, educational chemistry, teacher tools, educational technology, educational science, and using games in education. Here is the URL. And finally, we have the Multimedia Science website, where you can find more information on the game makers, chemistry, physics, and modules. The website is www.multimediascience.com. Well, thanks for your time. We are planning more videos for the future, so stay tuned.